This recipe is a butternut squash bisque. This is kind of a signature at Crop. Just really large chopped vegetables. We've got the butternut squash, carrots, celery, and onion. And I've simply started this with a little bit of butter, sauteed it lightly, and then instead of chicken stock, because this is a vegetarian version of this soup, I use an organic miso. It's a yellow miso. So essentially all this is right here is all the vegetables simmered for about 45 minutes till they just start to be tender. So using the XL in this application is pretty key because this soup, as you can see, is very, very hot. And one of the challenges in making bisques or purees is working with hot product because it will expand and it steams and you don't want to create a dangerous situation. So we're actually able to utilize the whole size of the blender. So this is 1.5 gallons. And you'll see that we're able to incorporate the entire recipe into the blender bowl and not have to compromise the size of the blender for what the recipe would actually yield. So you can see how beautiful that is. You've got all these large chunks. It's a real key point of difference is for labor, I'm not standing around chopping stuff down so fine because I'm have to rely on something to make the puree. So I'm able to start with a large chunk and you'll see what happens here. So we start the blender and the shear is so important. The blade configuration really does a great job. When you see what I'm looking for is a super smooth creamy bisque with no particulate in it. When you look at vegetables like celery, which are high in fiber and can be stringy, one of the things is that if you've got high shear, it'll really, really reduce those down into the puree. So key is this venting lid for hot blending purposes. The lid is really tight. You'll see we start getting some steam coming up as I'm pureeing this. And you'll see immediately how fast that is. Perfect viscosity. I want that texture to be exactly where it's going to end up in the bowl. So now I'm just about half speed. Now we're going to give it the ride for just another few seconds at high. Okay, so now I'm going to finish with some seasoning. Now this is fresh sage leaves, squash and sage, great combination. Interesting ingredient which works again really well with the squash is curry powder. So just a light, about a tablespoon of curry powder. And then again, think apple pie, a little bit of cinnamon. I'm adjusting the salt right at the end. 1 tablespoon. And half a tablespoon of black pepper. Put the lid back in, and I'm just going to finish, get that sage to be chopped up. So I want a little bit of green flecks within it. So in other words, I pureed the soup and then adding the herbs just at the last second. So I get that green fleck, and again, the herb is fresh, so it's going to maintain its color really well and it won't be brown. So one last hit. Look how beautiful that is. What's so great about this too is you can see in the bowl. It's a clear bowl and it really is an advantage because you're not guessing how pureed something is or you're not guessing at how you want your particulate size. So I can see right now that sage is finely minced and we're done. So carefully remove your lid. It's hot and yet it didn't splash out. All the flavors there. Nice big ladle. Oh, it smells amazing. The cinnamon and the curry just come up. That fresh sage pops up a little bit. And that is about as simple and as luscious as something could be. Butternut squash soup with carrots, celery, a little curry, and cinnamon. Thank you.